Hi, good afternoon. Have you spent 3 months looking for a good pair of footwear? Me too. But at the end of this 3 month search, I thought I was in a secret reality show called Soul Survivor. You get the pun. Now, being a CA, there are few things which are wired in my brain. I always look for patterns, I look for inefficiencies, and also the value. So after 3 months looking for a perfect footwear, I asked myself, is this just me problem or the system is broken? So during this journey, which wore out of my patience and my footwear soul, it made me think and list down my basic requirement of a good footwear. One, the footwear should be comfortable. Because let's face it, every one of us, at least 5 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, we need a good, solid, comfortable footwear. Two, the footwear needs to be durable. You can't be spending every 2-3 months searching for a new footwear. Third, the footwear needs to be stylish because everyone wants to be in trend and we can't be wearing something which our father or our grandfather was wearing. Four, it needs to be affordable. But if you try to fit the first three criterias, there is a high chance that fourth criteria doesn't fit. It made me realize that we are not really shopping for footwear. We actually are picking what's available to the eye and what's available to the pocket. Let me ask you a question. How many footwear you own? Raise your hand if you own more than 2 pair of footwear. Now keep it raising if it is more than 5. Keep it raising if it is more than 10. And now the next question is for your introspection. Out of these 2, 5 or 10 footwear, which are the footwear you actually go to? You understand where I'm going with this? The problem is, you are not given a choice because footwear is all about you. The footwear should be about you, your priorities, and your life. After realizing and after researching about a lot of these issues, I started digging deep. That is it a personal pain point or there is a problem? So after a lot of research, I realized it's just not a personal pain point. Because if you read the UN report of 2022, behind every mass-produced fast fashion footwear, there lies a plastic trail and endless landfills. For example, let's take example of Agra, which is close to home. According to the report by Center of Environment, Energy and Water of 2022, Agra itself produces 45 tons of footwear waste daily. Now, a city which is already grappling with its waste management problems, this is an add-on. Globally, the situation is even more alarming. As per the World Footwear Yearbook 2023, annually we are producing 23 billion footwear. And out of those, 22 billion footwear are ending in landfills. According to the report of UN 2021, now most of the footwear which are ending in the landfill, most of them are non-biodegradable. They are sitting in the landfills for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and sometimes lasting more than the brands which have made them. See, in India, waste management is already a challenge. It is already stretched very thin. Now, with the footwear, there comes a waste which is never recycled. A waste which is forgotten, burnt, or just dumped anywhere. But there is a twist. Sustainable footwear does exist. However, as per Statista's 2023 report, it only accounts 2% of the global footwear supply. And in India, it's even less. So the real question is, how many people actually care? And is it possible to make a sustainable footwear in a country like in India, which is so price sensitive? Yes, there are some green shoots. There are some startups which have been making footwear with sustainable or recycled materials, but still it's not the default. With all this research and all these problems came the idea that we as a consumer need to have a better choice. Not a harder choice, not an impossible choice. Not impossible to make, not impossible to procure, not impossible to buy. But we wanted to make what's possible. So we started with a simple belief that Rome was not built in a day. So we started breaking the problem into smaller goals, medium-term goals, and larger goals. So the clear problem was that the waste is ending in the landfill. So how can we do something which solves some of the problem immediately? So we started eliminating plastic from our packaging. Now, we also started removing the tapes which are used in the packaging. We started using paper tapes, and on top of that, we started removing the packaging material which is not needed in the first place. So that's one problem solved. Now the second problem is the broader problem, which is that what we can use, which is already there as a waste, and if we make something will not result into additional issues. And then came the idea of discarded tires. Now, discarded tires occupy a huge portion of the landfills. Now, to give you a fun fact, there exists a landfill which is completely made of tire in Kuwait, and that is visible from space. Because at the time, 50 million discarded tires are sitting there. So that's a problem, right? So we thought, why not use it? Why not use the waste which is already available? With months of research, we came up with a fantastic idea of soles made out of the recycled tires. Now, this recycled tire sole was not just some cool idea, it was a game changer. With our dedicated research of more than 18 months, we made a sole which is biodegradable within 4 to 5 months. Now compare this with hundreds and hundreds of years which the normal sole takes to biodegrade. Now that's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. After this, we actually got more experimental with the success. We started using newer materials. We added tubes. We started adding cork. We started adding medical waste like your disposable gloves. Recently, we started doing rice husk. All these materials are either sustainable or actually existing waste which we are recycling. To put this in numbers, till date, we have recycled more than 1.5 million ton of tires, which is equal to 18,532 cars taken off the road in terms of tire usage. And in terms of CO2, we have averted 3.5 million kg of CO2 till date. Now with our vision growing stronger, we went to the boardroom and thought, now what about the durability? Because that's what the customer is going to ask for. That's what defines a good product. On durability index, we scored 7.5 out of 10, which is higher than the national standard and international standard in terms of the fast fashion. So After developing this, what we have come to the conclusion is that what we have developed is not just a footwear, but a footwear with a footprint, which you can be proud of, and which translates into exact what it is promising. So my ask for you today is, don't buy. You have to choose. Because every time you choose, you cast a vote in terms of a better world tomorrow. In India, we are 1.4 billion people. Globally, we are 8 billion people. That's like 8 billion footsteps walking every day. What if just 1% of us started to make conscious decisions, started to make better choices? The change will be really noticeable. Because the fact is, you have the power. And what can be the next step? It can be the one which takes the world forward. Thank you.